Alright, let me see if I can make a long story short. So, they got everything out pretty much in one piece, okay. My pain levels are very manageable, but the endometriosis caused my uterus to get fused to my bladder, so they had to cut it apart, and that's why I need a catheter, but it's not permanent, just 2 weeks. Good morning, Twitter. I am alive. I am shockingly in the least amount of pain I've been in 15 years. I'm pretty bummed about the catheter situation, but I'm alive, and I will fucking get used to it. So, I should be home within 12 hours at the latest, and back in bed, and I may possibly be taking phone calls and whatever's tomorrow. So many of you have tweeted at me. If I took time to respond to all of you, it would take me like 5 hours or longer, but I have liked and retweeted all of the impressions, and I really appreciate it. I am hopefully going to be able to eat some solid food today for the first time in like 2 weeks. I can't believe this is already over with. Like, it went so fast for me. I didn't even... Yeah, BJ's really tired, so we are waiting on the doctor and the go-home catheter and my mom, because my mom is going to drive us home since we did not sleep. Well, kind of slept, not really slept, but yeah. As for the Essure, they got pretty much everything out in one piece. It's not unlike childbirth, and they didn't have to make any extra incisions. They were able to just go in through my vagina and take it all out, except my uterus was fused to my bladder with endometriosis, which is why I need the catheter, but otherwise, I can walk without assistance. I know, and I just drank some juice and a whole bunch of water, but I am alive, and I am better than I've been in years. I have to use videos because I can't really type or convey well right now, but as for the catheter situation, it's not a permanent deal. It should only last for 2 weeks, but I'm stubborn. Maybe we'll find a way to get it out sooner. So I'm very excited for the next couple weeks to just fly by. So, oh man, we might have to give me a different bridesmaid's dress if I still have this catheter for my sister's wedding. Or maybe you guys need to buy me some sturdy-ass garter belts. We'll see, but I'm very excited and should hopefully be up on my feet for my sister's wedding, so yay. Thank you guys for all of your support and well wishes. I'm overwhelmed. You guys have flooded my Twitter, you guys have flooded my Instagram, and I've even gotten a number of emails and Snapchats, and goodness knows my personal life is blowing up with people just cheering, screaming. So I am going to hopefully eat this waffle, or part of it, and maybe try to eat the sausage too. I'll see you guys later. Hello, Instagram. I'm alive, doing pretty okay, and in the least amount of pain I've been in for 15 years. Fuck Essure. I'm so glad it's gone, and I'm very excited for breakfast and to go home. So many of you guys have commented on my posts that I don't have time to respond to them all. Like, it would take me hours, but I just wanted to say thank you guys for reaching out. And I'm gonna go home very soon. Alright, let's see, where to begin? Okay, hi, I'm Rose. I went through a bunch of shit this year. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that 2018 was a really hard year for me, and then 2019 got a lot harder because I had Essure and it ruptured my fallopian tube. And here's the story of what happened with my Essure. Okay, so we'll start at the beginning. I got my Essure in April 2015. There were no problems with the procedure itself, other than I could feel the coils. They said you're not supposed to be able to feel it. Well, I could feel it ever from day one. Like the second I woke up from getting them implanted, I could feel the coils. I knew where they were all the time. I didn't notice any serious issues the first few years because I've had endometriosis like my entire life. So it was the perfect storm for me just going, that's my normal homicidal uterus for me. So I didn't notice anything until obviously it was too late. My son started kindergarten in August of 2018 and he brought home the plague because kindergarten and preschool are plague city, and he got cooties, every single one of them. Well, he brought home that first set of cooties in August right after starting kindergarten, and oh my god, we were so sick. We were, I want to say a week, 2 weeks. It was at least a week for me, but I think my husband was sick for 2 weeks. Poor kid was sick for like 5 days and then he was just fine. It was the worst stomach bug I've ever had except for the norovirus, and that was hell. Norovirus was hell. Well, this was also bad. So, you know how sometimes you get sick and you know it's coming a long ways before it comes? Well, I had the full flush. And I was unlucky enough to need a trash can at the same time. And that is when the Essure ruptured my fallopian tube. It was like my body was trying to purge everything. And after a few years of the Essure, it decided, fuck this shit, it's making our problems worse. Well, so that night it definitely ruptured my fallopian tube. There's no doubt in my mind that's the night it happened, because I had been pole dancing for a year with no problems. I've been doing high intensity exercises for years. It definitely ruptured my fallopian tube that night. Well, things progressively got worse. I started going to the doctor as soon as they could get me in, which was like September, and she didn't believe me. She was like, okay, well, there might be a problem, but let's get you an x-ray and find out. So we got an x-ray and she straight up looked at me and she was like, looks fine. I don't think there's any problem with you. Okay, this is not okay. I'm still having problems. So at that point in time, it was not the first time I had dealt with doctors like this. And I was certainly hoping that this doctor would not, because of where they're from, but you know, doctors are people and people are humans and people are fallible and a lot of people are assholes. So this doctor, who said that she didn't think there was anything wrong with me, recommended that I get an ablation, which is specifically in the biggest no-nos of not to do's when you have Essure. Thank God that didn't happen. So I get my uterine biopsy with no sedation or anything, by the way. I did that shit fully alert and sober and awake, and I almost bit through my lip and I almost broke my husband's hand. But I did it. So I got my uterine biopsy and that comes back and she says there's no cancer, but we can schedule you for an ablation and remove the Essure if you're dead set on it being out. I was like, okay, I guess this is the best I can get. So let's see, by then it had been August, September, October was when I got the biopsy. So we're fighting to get surgery in November. We're fighting to get surgery in December. Nothing's happening. We're being rejected left and right. Finally, we decide, okay, let's go ahead and schedule it. And maybe if we have it scheduled, insurance will just work out and things will be great. We schedule it for January. Shit hits the fan. Well, the good news is that as soon as insurance rejected it, I called them and I said, hey, if she's not going to work, I need help now. I've got an emergency situation on my hands. Because at that point in time, it was like New Year's and I stopped being able to eat anything. Even French fries were off the table. Anything thicker than a baby food puree in like maybe half cup amounts was too much. I was lucky to drink a cup of juice without having such searing pain that it caused me to get nauseous, and then it caused me to lose over 15 pounds in a month, when I was on pelvic rest since August, and I was on an exercise ban since September. So there's no reason I should have been losing 15 pounds in a month when I'm on bed rest. So red flags are going off all over the place. I'm like, this is not good. I'm going to die if I don't get somebody to listen to me. And I really, for a few months there, I honestly thought that I was just waiting to die. It was terrible. I cried every single day from the day that the Essure ruptured my fallopian tube until the day I had my hysterectomy on March 15th. I cried every single day. Was that 9 months? 8 months? And you know, it's pretty crazy because when I got pregnant with my son, I got pregnant with him in August of 2012 and he was born in May of 2013. So I had to deal with Essure untreated for almost as long as a full-term pregnancy. So anyways, so I finally meet my new doctor in January after scouring every resource available to me. I had scoured all of the Essure resource groups and called all of those doctors. Nothing panned out. Nothing. So finally I was just like, you know what? Barfing or not, I'm calling insurance and we're gonna make something happen. So I called them and I said, hey, you denied me for surgery. I need help. I'm about to end up needing an emergency surgery, and if you guys don't help me, I might die. So the customer rep was like, okay, let's get you a doctor right now. Do you need an appointment tonight? I was like, no, but as soon as possible. So we spent like 2 or more hours on the phone, and this poor rep called every single doctor's office, and I had to sit there and listen as they said, hey, do you operate on people with Essure? No? Click. Okay, next. Hi, do you operate on people with Essure? Hung up again. Okay. We got hung up on more times than I could count in that first half hour. It was insane. People just would not speak to us because Essure is terrible. I don't know, but it took over a year of my life. It's now May 21st and I'm still not fully off bed rest. I used to be very active, very physical, and very healthy. I was a very happy mom, and now I am a very sleepy mom. So all of that waiting, and I finally got my hysterectomy, and I go in and I'm terrified because on one end it could be terrible. I could get horrible news like everything needs to go, it's a shit show in there, and you need a colon resection. I was prepared for that. I was prepared to have my colon resectioned. Well, they opened me up and it turns out, yes indeed, the Essure had completely split my fallopian tube from A to B like a zipper. And that's not supposed to work like that. And the other Essure on the right side was like so close to popping through, it was barely paper thin. But that wasn't the problem, apparently. I mean, it was, because that was causing me significant issues. But the real problem was that my untreated endometriosis that I had gone over a decade without any treatment had fused my uterus to my bladder. And the endometriosis was growing inside my vagina, and I had cervical ectropion, and the Essure was just insult to the injuries. So my surgeon was able to remove all of that, and I got to come home for 2 weeks with a catheter. It was hell. I was not prepared for that catheter. It was terrible. It was terrible. I hated that catheter so bad. It was painful. It was uncomfortable. I couldn't sleep. I could kind of eat a little bit, but the problem with that was after surgery, I had to relearn to eat solid food again, and I'm still March 15th was my surgery. It was May 21st, and I still have trouble eating solid food some days because my body is not used to it anymore. So, yeah. Anyways, they were able to remove 1/3 of my vagina. They cut out my cervix, they took my tubes, they took my uterus, they took it all as one package, and they had to separate it from my bladder. Well, my son's school's calling. Well, they don't need to talk to me. It's last day of school. Anyways, so my surgeon was able to remove everything, and because it was fused to my uterus, she had to patch the holes up, which is why I needed the catheter. So fast forward to today, the catheter's gone, but I'm now in the uncomfortable process of actually healing, because it didn't feel like my healing started until the day the catheter was pulled out, which was 2 weeks after surgery. So I'm like 2 or 3 weeks behind standard. So my radical hysterectomy went pretty well. She was able to do everything vaginally, which, hooray, that means less chance of endometriosis. Hopefully. As for my vagina, well, I haven't been cleared for penetration yet, so we'll see. But it's pretty great because I have no scars. Well, I mean, no extra scars, but well, I could give a fuck about scars, honestly, after what I just survived. I'm just glad that there's minimal chance for the endometriosis to grow back a whole bunch. So that's fantastic. Unfortunately, I'm still dealing with symptoms of bullshit because endometriosis has no cure. But I'm living with it, and it's nothing could ever be as bad as the hell that Essure was. It was worse than childbirth, and I could feel my contractions through that epidural, so I know what I'm talking about. I feel better than I have since I was like 10 years old, to be honest. I've been living with so much daily pain, like my entire life, that my view was completely warped. I was riding above the pain scale for so long that being under an 8 most days and not going above an 8 on the pain scale is just wonderful. So anyways, this is me. You can see I've gained some weight back. Doing better than I ever have-ish. Healing slowly. So Essure might have taken a year from me, but it did not take my life. And I'll be damned if I let it. So here's me fighting endometriosis and with nothing else holding me back now. Thanks for watching.